Hey everyone, this is Mike Nekta out of the New York City Diamond District. We're going to answer a question I get all the time. People ask how I got into the jewelry business. I was actually born into this jewelry business. Um, Here's what it was. The second day in the country when my grandfather and his two teenage sons immigrated to New York from the ex-Soviet Union, someone gave them a tip since they were watchmakers. Yeah, all of them. My grandfather had a watch repair shop and a watch shop back in the old country, and his two teenage sons would help him in that shop. So second day in the country, someone gave him a tip to go out to the New York City Diamond District. All they had with them were just their tools, because when you were leaving the Soviet Union at that time, which was the mid-70s, you were considered to be like a traitor or a bad person. Can't really take too much of your wealth with you. You could just take like one gold ring and basically clothes on your back. So with their tools, they come out to the New York City Diamond District, they rent a booth at 55 West, and they start repairing watches. The first $5,000 my grandfather saved, he goes over to somebody and asks him for a recommendation on how to invest in and what to do. And that person told him, buy gold chains. And this is like the Mr. T days, the late 70s, gold chains were really popular. So he gets these gold chains. Someone was kind enough to tell him what was a hot seller, what wasn't, what to stay away from. So he gets this $5,000 worth of gold chains, and now he's really afraid of getting stuck with them. He goes over to somebody in the wholesale gold business and asks him, hey, how much would you sell that chain for? He says $10 a gram. He asks him, would you sell it for $9 a gram? He says no. Meanwhile, all these guys, including my grandfather, were buying it for about $5 a gram. So he understood that people are not giving discounts beyond more than $10, lower than $10 a gram. So he starts selling these things for $6 a gram, or even sometimes $5.50 a gram, because he was so afraid to be stuck with these chains. Of course he sold them, but he didn't realize what he did. He created a market for himself. People started, he did that a few times over and over and over, and people started talking about him. Back then, if you wanted to buy chains wholesale, gold jewelry wholesale, all the wholesalers were up in the office upstairs. You had to get invited or be introduced to someone, or find one of their ads. But they were doing this out of their watch repair booth, which is at ground level in one of the jewelry exchanges. So people started talking about them, and people from the tri-state area would come, stock up on really good deals on gold chains, and go back to their shops and resell them. After a while, he got a letter from the bank, a letter of credit, and flew directly to a factory in Italy, and shortly after that became the largest gold chain importer in New York City. They did that for pretty much most of the 80s. Another thing is, of course, lots of their friends and relatives were also immigrating into the country, and they would give them tips on what to do. They would give them tips on what to do, like, hey, come to the Diamond District, I'll give you merchandise, you'll pay me when you can, start selling it. And a whole bunch of their friends and relatives came into the business. That was good, but also created a whole bunch of competition where the business changed, because there was so much competition of everybody doing pretty much the same thing. What happened was they started competing with each other and started offering credit and terms to the buyers. And that didn't really work out so well, because at the end of the year, some people paid, some people didn't, and it was kind of like a headache type of a business. So they slowly moved into creating a different product. And what they did was they took the gold chains that they had and the gold jewelry that they had and started drilling holes in them and adding diamonds to them. They were customizing them and tricking them out with diamonds. And that was pretty interesting, because not too many people in the market were offering that. So that got really popular with the people, the local people. And they also expanded to a window type operation where they got a window booth selling these types of things. So they had both businesses. Shortly after that, that business that sold the customized. Oh, let me just say, I remember my dad would come home after work, have dinner, spend a little bit of time with his family, and then go back to his little workspace, which was a desk in our basement, and he would sort through stones and gems and mark with a black magic marker exactly where they would go on the gold piece, where he would give that to his brother, and the next night his brother would drill the holes into the piece and set the diamonds into the gold piece. Anyway, that business got really popular, so popular that one of their distant friends or relatives, offered them key money to buy them out and bought that business. That business was named after their mom, who passed away back in Russia at the age of 36. Let me just say, while I'm on that topic, that's how these two teenage boys knew how to repair watches, because while their father was running around trying to help his sick wife get the right medicine or medication, they had to fill in for him at his shop, because medication was really something, a simple type of sickness that would be easily dealt with in the United States, but in Russia, she unfortunately died. She left 3 young children behind, and that was one of the reasons that, not the only reason, but one of the reasons that my grandfather said he had to get out of there. He had to get out of Russia, because she could have lived if she would have just been in a country where, they had the right type of medication or medical attention. Anyway, he was traveling all over and talking to different people trying to save her, and obviously he didn't, and that really affected the entire family, especially him. So, what was I saying? So, that business that was named after the mother got sold. And shortly after that, about 8 months later, they expanded into another business, also diamond related, where they started creating engagement rings and wedding bands, bridal jewelry. At that point, they were still selling jewelry on a wholesale level. So they're making these items, were selling them to other stores. Fast forward to when my generation got involved, myself and my cousins, we took the family business and made it a little bit more end user friendly. We still give wholesale prices, but you can buy just one or a few pieces. There's no minimum order quantity, and I'm a graduate gemologist of the GIA. I went through the schooling so I could educate somebody on how to choose the right diamond and things like that. That's pretty much the story. It's a family business. I'm sure I missed a few things, but I'm the type of guy that I believe it's better to get this video out there, and I can fix it later. I also have a picture here. Let me see if I could show you this. It's on the wall. There, this. This is like 1972. That's my dad and his younger brother. They're working on a watch. This is back in Russia.
She has red eyes.
All right, you could see that picture. That's my dad. Look at that cool watch he's wearing. They're teenagers here, obviously. He's probably like 16 and a half or 17. He's probably like 16 or 15. Anyway, also in 2003, I myself created a watch line with my last name on it. It's the Nekta watch, that was the first brand name product that the family produced. You could probably still find them out on the internet, and that's the time I made that Nekta logo. Since then, I've evolved to creating custom-made jewelry and custom diamond jewelry. I get a kick out of knowing that I get a kick out of making bridal jewelry, because that's the type of piece that represents something so pure and so awesome, where two people get together and start a new chapter in their life, create a family, start making babies. I get a kick out of that. That's what starts that. Someone also once told me that I'm doing something that really made me feel great. Someone told me that I'm doing God's will, because the first thing that God told Adam, the first man, the first thing that he told him was to be fruitful and multiply. So that's like the first thing God told all mankind, and the ring, the diamond ring, is the start of that, because they start a family, start making babies. That's usually the plan. So I feel good about that. I help in the process. There's also something that someone once told me, that they do a statistic, and a woman probably looks at her diamond ring about 100 or 200 times a day. Who knows, maybe even more. And obviously, every time she looks at that, it brings a smile to her face. She likes it, and I get a kick out of knowing that I was one that created that piece. It's a very special item. It's a piece of jewelry that she wears pretty much all the time throughout the entire lifetime. And I was a piece of that. That's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can ask me questions and comment below. If you need to reach me, it's 212-921-4647. That's my cell phone number, 212-921-4647. I'm shooting this video straight out of the New York City showroom. We're out in the New York City Diamond District near Rockafeller Center in Times Square. If you have any questions about diamond jewelry, I'm here to help. I'm a graduate of the Gemological Institute of America. I enjoy educating people and putting them on the right path. And I'm not the type of jeweler that will push you in a particular direction. I like to hear what your current situation is and offer you a few options so you can make the right choice. I'm not going to be the one that tells you that the D internally flawless is the only way to go. I like to take an approach where I show you sometimes how you can think outside the box and get more bang for your buck. And that's been the niche that I've been working for the past 9 years. It's been working really well, and people are very receptive to it. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I just finished recording this video, and I forgot that I actually have something to show. This is that ring I was talking about. You weren't allowed to leave with too much of your wealth. You were only allowed to take like one ring or one bit of jewelry. This was the ring that my grandfather had commissioned someone to make for my dad to wear. There some initials on there or whatever, and engravings. It's rose gold because that was the color of gold from Russia. Let's see if I could read the hallmark. I think I saw 585. That makes it the purity 14 karat. Oh my goodness, I think I see a star with a hammer and sickle inside. I'm not sure, whatever. I think I see that. Yeah, I do see that. That's crazy. I never looked at it that closely. I'm using a magnifying glass with a light. Okay, anyway, so that's that gold ring that they used. Obviously, it was never sold, and now it's like a family heirloom. Yeah, that's a ring made in the ex-Soviet Union. These are hand engravings. That's an initial. I just weighed it, and it weighs less than 20 grams. And it's 14 karat gold, according to that stamp right there. Here's a portrait of my father, my late father. He's the reason I'm in this business today. I hope I'm making him proud. And this is a picture of my grandfather, uncle, myself, and my two cousins, who were all in the same business. All right, so these are some of the Nekta watches that I just mentioned. This was the first brand name piece that I did myself. I think I was like in my early 20s for sure. Maybe even 19. It's the logo on Nekta. Obviously, by the time my family got into the business, they weren't really doing watches, but I understood the history behind it, so I thought it would be cool to kind of bring us back into watches. So this was my first project. I don't really do too much of this type of work anymore. I stick to bridal engagement rings, as I mentioned. All these were limited production, very artistic, obviously. Real diamond, Swiss movement. I traveled the world for about 4 months to put together all the components to make all this happen.